Yes, hello.
Wait a minute. Okay, we are live. So welcome to our live. We're actually gonna start on time. This time, what for those that have never heard of Natural Stride, our channel is about anyone who's ever had a thought or inkling about leaving whatever country you are a part of, finding another country, making it your own, embracing it, and making it your own in everything that comes with it. And we're always in the everything that comes with it mood. So today is going to be one of those days that my viewers get to experience, first of all, some of my family, because our very special guest here today is family. I'm talking about blood family. So you'll get to see, I'm always sharing about how I'm not physically able to show up for everything, but spiritually and emotionally, I am there. So it's why I take these platforms, YouTube and Facebook, so seriously, because the creator, I already seen where God was taking my life years ago. He gave me what I asked for. My life is international, which means I'm not present physically all the time. So I have to take full advantage of the platforms. I get to watch my family grow. This young lady you about to hear speak today and share her experience, strength, and hope. I get to watch them. They don't even know I be watching them for real, but I'll be watching them and loving them from the way I have to. Because, this is between me and God. So I said, I wanted these things. I want to live all around the world. And he granted me that. But however, people always ask me, well, do you miss your family? That's like the number one question. I'm like, of course I miss my family. But I try to visit America when I can. And today is one of those days. So I don't know, I might get a little emotional. Drisa, welcome to the live, and welcome back again. I remember your name, sister. So we are going to let my niece introduce herself, but before I do that, I just want to tell you why she's here today. One, because I love her and she's my family. That's two things. Three is International Women's Month. And what I wanted to do, the goal for me is to try to tap into the lives of women that I love and care about. I don't get to see that often, but they're always in my heart. They're always in my spirit. Now, she's one of them. I didn't just watch her grow up. I didn't just have my hands in raising her, but she's special to me. And if you've seen the topic of the today's share is it's about I said our survivor. I said ours for a reason. But she's so inspirational. Like, she didn't just take the gift of life that God gave her a second time around. She didn't just take that gift and sit down somewhere. See, and y'all hear me share this all the time. The only way we get to keep these precious gifts is by giving them away. So she just floods the universe with all this inspiration. She goes around, she gives of herself in ways that most people cannot or will not, just simply will not. So without further ado, please help me welcome my beautiful niece, Shea. Yeah, one day I'm going to learn how to do them things. You know how they make sounds? They go, yay! So we're welcoming my beautiful niece. And we welcome everybody in the chat. And for those that don't come on time, you're just going to have to watch it later, like most people do. Of course, I'm on the island of Grenada, so you're going to see me sweat. Of course, I got the fan behind me. Let me turn it up. Hold on. Okay. So, Shea, please introduce yourself to the world, because YouTube is the world, and just tell us who is Shea.
Whew. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Auntie, for just such an amazing introduction. First of all, such an honor and so humble that you even thought of me to come on your platform and share during this time of Women's History Month. So, in short, my name is Shea Robinson. I am, first of all, a child of the Most High God. I am a daughter. I am a wife. I am
Yeah.
a mother. I am a grandmother. I am a niece. I am a friend. I'm a sister to many. And I'm an advocate, for those who experience, breast cancer, those who experience living with sickle cell disease. And I just love to give back to the community in whichever way that I can, based on my own experience or based on others around me. So that's just a little bit about me. I know we're gonna get more into it, but
Absolutely.
that's a little bit who Shea is.
Well, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for your introduction, and happy International Women's Month.
Yes,
So,
thank you.
yes, you did mention advocacy, and I heard that. We are really more alike than different. I'm always looking through my family trying to see who I'm like or who's like me or who's what. And I said, wow, we are more alike than different. You do advocate for people all around the world. And she's also an author, y'all. She left out many things. But we're gonna try to get
Right,
to
we're gonna
all
get
of
there.
it in the short time that we have. So can you tell us, how did you said advocate for
Yes.
cancer, you said advocate for sickle cell. How did that start with sickle cell? How did you get to the advocacy for sickle cell? And then we'll go up.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, let's go back a little further. So, for
Yeah.
those who may not know, my aunt, Edwina, lived with sickle cell disease.
Mhm.
She died at the short age of she was just 29 years old.
Yes.
So I got to see the impact of what sickle cell did to my own family.
Hmm.
However, I moved on and lived life. I ended up getting married to my first husband, who ended up passing away as a result of sickle cell disease.
Hmm.
Lived with that disease for 44 years. He did, but that's where my the intimate advocacy came into play, because I'm now living with someone who's living with the illness inside the home, and I got
Wow.
a different perspective of how it impacts the family, the children, and everyone around, and even the individual. Even though I saw that with my aunt as well, but it was different having a spouse. And
Absolutely.
right, so and there were times, for a person who was very vocal during his life, there were
Mhm.
times when he couldn't be vocal because of shame. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, some men may experience shame of having or living with a disease. I don't want to say having, because we don't
Yeah.
claim it, but living with the illness. And I had to be his voice at times. So I had to advocate for him while he was here. And I came across other, individuals, during that time, of who were living with it. And I
Yeah.
saw how they didn't have the support they needed. We had everything. We had nephrologists, we had all kinds of
Yeah.
doctors, and we would speak to different people, and they didn't have that support. So it really, something inside me said, we need to help these other families,
Mhm.
because they're missing out on what they need. The patient is missing out on the true care that they really need to be able to
Mhm.
sustain a decent living. So
Wow.
that's where my advocacy came from. And, with that, fast forward, my husband, he passed away in 2012, and we were working on doing a sickle cell walk to bring awareness to Delaware, because at the time we only heard about, sickle cell, what's the term I'm trying to use, but, big units,
Yeah.
like North Carolina or down in Atlanta or different places like that, but nothing in Delaware. Once you reach the age of 18, you kind of age out of the hospital here in the Children's Hospital in Delaware for the help. So there was nothing for adults. So we were trying to bring awareness for adult awareness. So he unfortunately he passed away before the walk initiated in September of 2012, which is National Sickle Cell Awareness Month. So
Wow.
myself and my partner Nina at the time, we went ahead and we pressed on, and we started the inaugural James Foster Sickle Cell Walk, and that was the advocacy. And also, two of our children, were born, with the trait. So
Oh, okay.
my late husband, not only we had one child together, and we had one apiece, one together. So my younger daughter, which is my stepdaughter, she has the trait, and little Jimmy was born with the trait as well. So also
Oh,
I advocate for trait as well, because it was important to, to inform schools, playing sports, their coaches, let them know, he lives with the trait. You can't really push him like that. You got to allow him the breaks that they need, because, there has been studies that show that some patients, or some people with trait have passed out because they're being pushed too far. That's with anybody. If you don't have enough water,
Absolutely.
hydrating yourself. But for someone with
Absolutely.
trait, is much greater. So I also
Absolutely.
got certified in trait awareness as well.
Wow. Now, then you see, you're teaching me something now because just for the viewers that are watching and that will be watching, so Shea is my niece. She is the daughter of my sister. And little Jimmy that you just heard her is her son. So he is my nephew, my great nephew. And I had no idea
Oh wow.
that Jimmy has the traits. So
Yes.
thank you so
Yes,
much
he does.
because I have a lot of people in my life who had the trait. For some reason, it's funny because you just mentioned it. You just said just your auntie, who was my sister, had the sickle cell disease, and you seen what it does to families. You had no idea. You had no idea that God was preparing you to do
No,
everything that you do today. Isn't that something?
that is. It's really deep.
Oh
It's
my God.
very.
And then I'm part of like a 12-step fellowship program and do just things all around the world. And every time somebody come to me and say, would you sponsor me or would you guide me? Guess what they always have? Sickle cell anemia, or,
Wow. Or
or
trait.
they have the trait or they have seizures, which was
Wow.
the
Yes.
main thing that Edwina, the aunt you just talked about, passed away.
Yes.
Oh, and I said, well, see, we don't know what God is doing. That's
We
why
don't.
we just kind of show up. So I just want to thank you for being a superwoman for real, because I see you as a superwoman. I'll
Oh,
be like, she's super. And we always see, we were always like, this is little Shea. Hey, Damali Life. Greetings, Empress Niece. She said, greetings, Empress Niece.
oh,
Damali
thank
Life
you.
is one that shows up. If we had to do this live in an alley somewhere behind two trees, I bet you I would look over there and see Damali Life.
Oh,
Welcome,
that's
Queen.
sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, she's a definite supporter of this YouTube channel thing that I'm this
Awesome.
journey.
Awesome.
So thank you, sister, for being here. Yes, and my niece says greetings. So thank you, Shea. That one rocked me. That one stopped me right there because I didn't know.
Right. And I
So
think one other quick thing too that some people aren't aware, because some people tend to get it confused with diabetes. Like, is it going to change? If you have the trait, it's going to change. No, you were born with the trait or you were born with the disease. But it takes either two traits or a trait and the carrier of the disease to,
yes,
have a child, that you're aware of, that produce a child with the
absolutely.
disease. Yes.
And you know what? We spent years trying to figure out where Edwina's
Mm-hmm.
had come from, that cell, how did that gene,
Right.
because we understand today it will skip a generation, it can skip a generation, but that thing be working. And come to find, we was all in dad's family, we was all in mom's family, and way down when I went to my first family reunion, they
Wow.
was doing what you doing. They was advocates, they was nurses, they was talking about sickle cell, and I couldn't even talk. I said, oh my gosh, we
Mm-hmm.
finally getting to the roots
Mm.
of where this thing trickle and come from.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely.
thank you for advocating for the family, for the world.
Oh,
Thank you for
thank
not resisting, because sometimes God can be preparing us for stuff, but we'll be like, why me? Me? You want me to do
No,
it?
I didn't raise my hand.
I can't hold no marathon every year. How do you do that, Shay? Tell us a little bit about this walk. Where does it happen? In case some people want to join, how can they
Oh,
support it if they want to? Yeah.
absolutely. So they can support it through. So now it's under my business, which is where my book is under as well, which is Posture of a Pearl, which is www.postureofapearl.com.
Okay.
We can receive donations there in other ways, but I can give you the information as well. But the walk, like I said, started in September, and we usually do it. It's in the month of September, and we do it like maybe the second or the last week, whatever's available, whatever location we decide to use. Traditionally, we have used Brandywine Park in Wilmington, Delaware, which is a beautiful location, or we
It
use
is beautiful.
I forgot the name of the school in Wilmington, but we use that as well. So we started out with a committee. It was just some of the family, the children. I was, teaching them because they was much younger when he passed. So it was 8,
Yeah.
12, and 17. So we would be out. We made flyers. Like I said, we hooked up with Nina Anderson as well. We made flyers. We would be at baseball games, football games, and handing out
Mm,
flyers, teaching the children to say, "Hey, would you be interested? To
yeah.
come to a walk. It's an honor of my." Well, initially we started out saying it was an honor of their father, but it's
Yeah.
also an honor to help other families.
Other
To
thing.
bring a voice and to bring awareness to the disease, because we call it like a silent just a silent illness. You don't
It is
you
very
hear so
silent.
much about
Very
it now.
silent.
You hear
Thank you for saying
right.
that.
You hear so much more now, which is so great. We
Yeah.
I connected with different radio personalities, to
Hmm.
try to get, more people to come. So it actually blew up in the first couple of years. So every year we have our committee, we'll be playing, find a location, we get vendors, we whether it's medical vendors, we
Okay.
like to have fun, so we'll have moon bounces for the children. We work with the local community. Water Ice, Bernie's in Wilmington. I give him
Yeah.
a shout out because he
Yeah, that's
always
right.
donates to us as well. Every year we get his water
Wow.
ice, so we can hand that out. We may get other vendors that come, and sell different items too. But we try to have a balance of medical information, different things that people can sign up for. Whether they're getting their heart rate check, they're getting their the blood pressure check, whatever.
Beautiful.
Something
Beautiful.
around health. I've connected with a couple, even some of your friends, like Frank has come and spoke on the platform as well.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So even though it's around sickle cell disease, we also had other people on the platform speak about AIDS and speak about lupus and
Absolutely.
things of that nature, any
Yeah.
chronic illness, because
Chronic
that's what we
painful
want to do.
illness.
But of course, the
Absolutely.
highlight was sickle cell disease. But I wanted to involve others as well. So without family, without the support of family donating, absolutely, and
Mm,
friends, and like the team of people from the committee, some have passed on.
yes.
So but we couldn't have done it without any of them.
Oh yeah, definitely takes a
Yeah,
village. It definitely takes.
absolutely. And I
But
appreciate,
you,
I'm grateful
wow.
to, I'm remarried. And for those who don't know, for my husband's support now, it's just simply
Yeah.
amazing to have my husband's support, my in-love support, just everyone. It's just great, especially in the children as well. They are really advocates of this thing. So,
Absolutely, and I think that's beautiful. Don't worry, we're gonna get the hubby. I got some notes right here, so
okay.
you'll see me keep looking down. And hubby got a star by him because we so proud of him in so
Yes.
many ways. And I don't get to tell him. I don't even get to
Yes.
tell you, but
Oh,
I'm
I
telling you,
know.
I am so proud of him and his actions and his maturity and
Mm.
just that whole thing.
Yes, yes, yes,
Because
absolutely.
you are remarried. You are remarried. We
Yes,
talking about sickle cell in your first marriage. We haven't
yes,
even gotten to the fact
I
that you're a
know.
survivor. And you'd have mentioned your book.
Right.
I'm sitting here trying to decide which way do I go? Which way do I go? Because you are a superwoman to me. I'm
Oh,
telling you. I'm
oh
telling
my
you.
gosh, that's so
Yeah.
humble. Gonna make me cry over here.
You and I'm surprised I'm not crying yet because I was getting myself together before I talked to you. I said, it's going to be all right. So wait a minute. Let me please read some comments. We got a whole heap of them. Let me see.
Okay.
Damali said, greetings, Queen Mother. Oh, greetings, Queen, also.
Oh, greetings.
And then she said, she said, I have a sickle cell trait. She said,
Hmm.
so I sure do know what she's talking about. It's true, niece. Two traits can have a full sickle cell child.
Hmm.
Wow. Okay, I have a very, very close brethren whose kid was born with no feet because of sickle cell. Really?
Wow.
Yeah, it can attack any way it choose. Does little Jimmy, thank you so much for sharing, Damali. I appreciate that. Does little Jimmy have chronic pain?
You know what? Sometimes, yes, he does. It's interesting because he has some of the pains that his dad had. Even though, now my understanding of studies have said, but if things could have changed. But when I was being certified as a trait advocate, they said that a person with trait would not ever experience a crisis. However, he does experience the lower back pain that you hear a lot about, lower back pain and leg pain that
Absolutely.
his dad always complained about. So it wasn't always a crisis scenario, but it was pain down to the bone. So he does experience that.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
sharing that. Well, look who we got here, Kiana Moore. We
Oh,
got our baby. She said, hey,
oh,
Auntie. Hey, Mom.
thank you.
We love you, Kiana. I'll be watching Kiana be by your side
Oh,
in
she
everything
is.
you do, whether
She's a
you
trooper.
dancing at a ballroom on the floor, whether you raising money, whether you advocating for sickle cell cancer, it don't matter. She be by her mom. I'm
She's a
proud of you.
trooper, I tell you.
Yeah,
I
keep
love it.
keep taking care of your mom. Stay close to your
Hmm.
mom. I know that's right. See, that's gratitude.
And
That's
that's
being
another thing.
grateful.
Yeah.
That's grateful. I'm
We,
so glad you're able to express those things, Kiana.
when we
Damali
get,
said, very talented sister.
oh,
Info right on point. I'm telling you, you ain't even heard the talent yet, Damali. I'm not sure if I want to start talking about the book because I want to talk more about the kid. See, we got so many people on here. First of all, sickle cell is a disease because my sister had sickle cell. I was raised in the house. When it was time for us to do a school report, of course, I chose sickle cell. And because it's 97.5% us, African race, and then that other 2.5%, 3% is somebody else, white, or Caucasian, Hispanic, whatever it is. But we the majority of that one. So I learned so much about those cells.
yes.
And boy, I tell you, I'm okay. Okay. So wait a minute. So you oh God, you just a survivor in so many ways. So you went from sickle cell,
Yes.
husband transition,
Yes.
and then you remarried to this beautiful man.
Yes.
Is he there? Can he say hi to us?
Yes, he can say hi. Can you come over here?
Can you just say hi to the world, to my people,
Come say
please?
hello to the world. He's coming over.
Okay.
Yes.
Because he's so supportive, and I be watching y'all.
Absolutely.
So y'all
Absolutely.
might think I'm not there, but I am there.
I
I'm
know you
really
are.
there.
You are
I'm just,
watching.
I'm there. I'm there.
Right.
So
And you don't always have to comment. I see you like it or love it. I'm like, yes, you are.
absolutely, absolutely. I am there. I'm there because I'm interested, and I'm proud of my niece and my nephew. Hey, nephew.
Hey, auntie.
So, y'all, this is my nieces. Please tell the chat who you are.
I am the husband of Shea.
Hey, guys.
Shea Robinson. Why would I introduce myself like that if I'm proud of it?
Hey,
His
Mr.
first name is
Robinson.
Eric. His name
My
is Eric.
first name is her husband.
That's right.
My
This
first.
is not Eric,
Call
y'all.
me
This is
her
her husband.
husband.
This is her
Her
husband.
husband.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So this is her husband, and he's a great advocate too. He's all over. He's helping people like myself. We ain't even gonna go into that because I'm divorced 2 times. So every time he's sharing about marriage and how good it is, I don't want to change the topic. I'll be like, let me turn this on and listen. You know? But it's all good. It's all good. That's why we're here in this world.
Yeah,
to help each other learn how to do it properly. Just like Shea had no idea what God was preparing her for. So Shea then, and I put on this topic, I said our survivor, and I was specifically talking about cancer, a word that people don't like. Nobody wants to talk about it. Can you just give the world a synopsis of how you've experienced this journey? And then we'll talk about how supportive hubby has been. What it's been.
You want him to stay?
You can leave if you want, and we'll call you back if we need you. Thank you so much.
This journey has taught me.
Yeah.
I had to become fearless.
What? See, wait a minute. Before you go, so many people are accustomed to being fearful. Now you're going to talk about fearless. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Because I'm gonna keep it real.
Yes.
There was fear. There was fear there, but I had to be fearless. I had to get to a place when that diagnosis hit. See, here I am, the woman of God, serving the Lord, right? And I'm speaking faith. I'm speaking faith, right? I'm encouraging other people, right? I'm other people are going through trauma, and I'm and then giving them word and giving them encouragement. But you know what happens sometimes? What we do when it hits us, we get fearful
because it's in your backyard.
Because now it's in my yard, and we become fear. I said I gotta keep that same boldness. He's the same God that I told that person about. He's the same God that's going to heal me. So from day one, I declared my healing, Auntie. From day one, I didn't know what the prognosis was going to be. It didn't matter. I was declaring I trusted God. My husband had just experienced the loss of his father. That and to hear the doctor come in the room and say, "Sweetheart, I'm sorry, it's cancer."
So wait a minute. What made you go? Was this a regular routine, or you just had that, or you felt something different?
I felt. Oh, so here's the thing. I had just had my mammogram in February.
Okay.
I'm just taking a shower in April, and I was like, let me just go ahead and do a self-examination. You know, you get the stuff in the mail. I put it on my little shower thing. I said, let me go ahead and do the whole thing. Did all that, and I found a lump. It felt like a pebble. Prior to me finding that lump, I had other issues with my breast. Come to find out, I found through research with other family of the women on my mother's side that all the women have dense breasts, or that either you may have had with cysts that had.
Yeah, and I had a little benign tumor years ago, like 20 something, but I never had no more problems with it. Did it check and it was removed? They had to remove it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's right around my nipple. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I found out about my family.
Okay.
So, but when I speaking to different doctors, they explained to me that cancer doesn't change its form. So, because I was concerned then about it being cancer, like no, because it's moving around, it's soft, it's hard. Well, when I found this one, it was hard as a rock.
Okay.
And when I found it, I didn't say nothing right away to my husband because I was like, let me wait a couple of days and see. It was still a rock. It was a pebble. It was right above. So when I found it, I'm believing. I said, this ain't cancer. This is not. But in my mind, I'm like, I know it probably is.
What?
So that was April. That was like the end of April, like April 30th. Had my doctor's appointment at the beginning of May, like maybe around May 7th. I can't remember. And, they did the biopsy and had to come back. And, came back with the results. They came back. I went in a second time. They did an FNA, which is called a fine needle aspiration, which they went into my arm to pull some tissue to see if it had spread. And that's what determined I went from stage 1 to stage 2B. So that determined my stage. So it was 2B because it went into my lymph nodes in my arm. So I had to get cut underneath of here, and I had to get cut at the breast as well. So I ended up having a lumpectomy. But just to hear those words tied to my name, of course, fear came, but I had to believe, I had to really trust in God that. So let me go back. When my husband died, right?
Yeah.
I remember my son saying to me, I guess I'm going to be your husband now. What he meant was, I'm going to be your provider. And I'm like, no, you don't have that responsibility.
Yeah, baby.
God's
Yeah.
going to take care of us. And I always go back to that. I said, he took care of us then. And I said, he's going to take care of us even in this. So when I got the diagnosis, of course, my husband's there. I ended up telling the children. My oldest daughter was aware. Kiana, I told her. But the youngest two, I had to wait. And when I told my son, because he's just so gifted and sensitive to the spirit of what's going on around. I remember walking past him and I was troubled. And he grabbed my hand, and he's only like, I don't know how, he's young. He's maybe about 11. I'm not even sure. He grabbed my hand like, Mom, you okay? I'm like what he's picking up on that.
Yeah.
I was hiding
wrong?
it. I was hiding it. So I had to tell him. So when I told him, the first thing he said was, he cried. Am I going to lose my mom too? And I was like, nope. I'm going to help you change your speech. So I had to give him some word. I can't remember what the scripture was. I gave him one scripture. I said, I want you to recite this. But I had to live by faith in front of them. Because if I decided to say, I'm going to take this, I'm going to be all woe is me, be up in my room and depressed. And
it wasn't no time for that. It wasn't no time for that.
I had these babies, and they're watching. And my husband's watching. My mother's watching. Everybody's, but I still had to walk in the faith that I talked about. I'm up here. I'm teaching the word of God. I got to listen. When it hit my door, I had to have the same faith that I had before. Like, I shall live and not die to declare his works. And I believed it by faith. And I said, I would not have a reoccurrence. I would not have a reoccurrence. So this experience for me has been very emotional, because even though I talked about certain things, like I said it wasn't going to be cancer, but it ended up being cancer. So I guess God had another story. God had another journey for me to go through to be able to help and bless other people. Right. So, and I had to stand in that. And it was at times challenging because it was painful.
So let's stay right there, because I'm looking at you and I'm thinking, what level of pain? So once they said this is what it is, cancerous, what options did they give you?
So my options were,
did you do chemo and stuff?
I did chemo and radiation. So I had an aggressive form. So the diagnosis was like DCIS. I can't remember all the terms, but it was in my milk ducts. And I had the first, so it was surgery first. radiation, 12 weeks of chemotherapy. The first 6 weeks was very aggressive. My cocktail, they call it a cocktail, was TCH, which was taxotere, carboplatin, TCH, and hydro. I forgot what the H was, but it was TCH.
Okay.
And for 6 months, every other week, I was getting that chemotherapy. Now, I read the information, they gave it to me. This is what could happen. I looked at it once and I never looked at it again. I said, I'm not going to receive none of that.
As far as side effects and stuff, you
All the
mean?
side effects, skin can
Okay.
fall off. Pretty much they say all these. You know how you watch these commercials. All this
Mm.
can happen, including death. So it's like
Wow.
I'm not. I can't read that. I can't, because what's going to happen is I'm going to internalize it, and it's going
Yeah,
to
you
make
gotta
me
be careful what
sicker.
you feed yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So I have to keep
Absolutely.
feeding myself faith. I can only
Ooh.
speak it. And this is what's interesting. I want to shift to this really fast because it just came to my mind.
Yeah.
We were speaking so much faith that one day when one of my husband's staff members said to him, "What are you going to do if your wife dies?" My husband came home, he was messed up. He was messed up because we weren't thinking that at
We don't
all.
think like that.
We weren't.
Um,
So it was like I had to help. Like, no, we had to shift that whole mindset. So we got to be careful when you are experiencing something like that. Be careful who you allow in your circle, who you allow pray for you. Anoint or touch or whatever. Because everybody got it. They don't. If they don't have the belief that I have, they can't come
yeah,
pray. They can't speak life into me if they don't have the belief. Because
absolutely.
I'm saying I don't care
Absolutely.
what that say. I'm not. I don't care what the prognosis is.
That's right. We speaking life into each other. Absolutely. So
So
wait a minute. You said you did chemo and what's the other one?
radiation.
Radiation. Okay, you did both of them. So I just want to talk about the loss of your hair. Because
Oh
I
my
just
God.
want to say one thing about how did you receive? Because when I see most women, you can tell either they'll have something on their head that looks like a cancer patient. Some of them will be free enough to flaunt it.
Yeah.
How did you deal with your loss of your hair? Because I know what hair means to some women.
Yeah. It took me a minute. And
Okay.
my daughter was the one that encouraged me
Hmm.
in a couple different ways.
Okay.
I read about, okay, I can possibly lose my hair, and I kept saying I ain't gonna lose my hair. So one day, I decided to wash my hair, Auntie, right?
Yeah.
And I've never experienced it. You know how your hair just comes out, and sometimes sheds, whatever. But I had washed my hair, and it was stuck to my hands,
Oh,
like it was hard to peel off.
easy.
And I was like, oh, this is really happening. I didn't believe it. I said, so even though I was speaking faith in everything, things were happening because it was going to happen because I'm getting this poison in my body, right?
Yeah.
So, so,
Yeah.
so I was just praying that when the poison entered, that it didn't take it didn't that it hit only the cancer cells. That's what I was praying. But
Mm.
it happened. My hair fell out, and it wasn't so bad. I mean, it was traumatic. Don't get me wrong. It was. Of course, when it happened, when I whew,
I can only imagine, Nisi. I love you. It's okay.
I'm
Mm.
sorry,
It's okay. You don't have to be
but it was
sorry.
just for a moment. Um,
But I just want to say one thing while you catch your breath.
yes,
And it
thank
might be easy for me to say,
you. Yes.
but I'm telling you, you've always been my beautiful niece. But when I seen your head bald, I don't know if it was because I had just lived in South Africa where
Okay.
all big women wear bald heads. They
Yes.
put on
Yes.
earrings and boom. It's some of the most beautiful. It can
Oh,
be. It's the most. You were the most beautifulest that I had ever seen you before.
thank you.
Now that might be easy for me to say,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you, Shea, it showed a side of beauty that you still don't know what angle guy coming from,
Yeah.
because you was more beautiful than I had ever saw
Oh,
you.
thank you
Was
so
with
much.
your bald head. I think I told you a couple times, but I
Yeah,
didn't
you
want to
did.
say
You
it all and
did.
keep saying it because you were going through something. But I'm
Yeah.
telling you, you were absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? I loved it too. Once I was able to release and let go, I
Yeah.
love. You know how as kids, your siblings make fun of you, and I was always, I got nicknames, Old Miss
Yeah,
Hetty or Big
yeah,
Head. So I was
because
like, oh my God.
you had that occipital collarbone back there, right? You had like a long structured head, but
Right.
baby, when it was time to flaunt that thing, you better thank God for this. Because honey, we used to mess with your head when we was younger. We sorry, we apologize, and we hope we didn't traumatize you. But baby, when it was time, you was the most beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
I'm
That's
telling you,
awesome.
shit, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it was an experience. I actually enjoyed it. My daughter actually is the one that encouraged me, just take it off. It was two
Well,
different things.
thank you, daughter. Thank you,
Yeah,
Kiana.
it was
Take it off.
it was two parts. There was that, and it was like my scars. So usually
Yes,
I wear what you wear, like something
yes,
strapless.
yes.
And I was like, I ain't want to show my scars. She showed me this young girl who's going through breast cancer, lost.
Yeah, I seen her.
Yeah, she does
She on
okay. And
Instagram, isn't she?
yes,
And she
she
got
showed me this
scars.
video.
What?
And I was like, if she can do it, I was like, okay, but let me go ahead.
Yes,
So I went back to wearing my little strapless jumpers, and I was like,
that's right.
this is part of this is my history of my
That's
life.
right. That's right. This is my
This is a part of
story.
it.
That's right.
Right. So I'm
My
like, I was
story.
okay. So that really encouraged me to take the wig off because it wasn't until January. So I'm going through chemotherapy beginning in July of 2015. So it wasn't
Okay.
until January I took it off. I was like, enough of
Wow.
this. Wear no more
Take
wigs.
it off. I am who I am. Took
Yes,
it
sir.
off and became this whole beautiful person that you didn't even know was
I
in
didn't
there.
even
You don't
know.
even know was
I would have
in there.
never ever done that in my life.
Dang.
Never.
Well, I'm so proud of you because you just told us you went from sickle cell, losing your husband, to over here. Now you battling cancer and you get this amazing husband. I said, wait a minute, how's she gonna get two amazing husbands? And I can't tie the two together. Let me take that back. God, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God. I take that back. I can't. I be trying to. I wish I could tie the two of them by their toes. I'm sorry, God. I take that back and just make one good one. I'm sorry. I take it back.
So hilarious.
But listen, Damali said, "Amen, niece." She said the Almighty was preparing you for this journey to your destination, highly favored by the Almighty, niece. She said, "Yes, it was a test, and you won." Women, you walk. Oh, you walk the devil into submission.
Okay, I receive all that.
Amen. Yes.
Oh, praise God! Thank you so much. Thank
That's
you.
right. Y'all gonna make us start singing and dancing in a minute. And then Damali also said, "Tears of healing, sister." She said, "Cry if you need to. We are here for you." And Kiana said, "You're welcome. You're oh man, you did you write the book of your life? You know what? It is of her life, but it's of another part of her life.
I know.
Wait, you know what? Because okay, it's 4:38.
Okay.
Maybe because I know they want to hear about your book, and we usually do one out. Oh my gosh, Shea, you are so interesting. See, you got so much to offer. Okay, first of all, I typed in the chat. Let me make sure, in case somebody wants to be supportive. www. You said postureofapearl.com.
Yes. If that's what you find. Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna.
Okay, if y'all want to communicate anything with Shea, anybody who has sickle cell, struggling with cancer, want to be supportive in any one of those areas, she does a lot worldwide. She's kind of international, like her auntie when she want to be. So just reach out to her. It's in the chat if you need that. Now let's go back down here. Now, this book of life, since we got a few more minutes, about maybe 20 more minutes, maybe we can get into, because see, your life, it all comes together, really, it does. And I just want to commend your husband, he said, for being a great nephew, a great husband, because I don't get to tell him, I don't get to see him that much. I come to America maybe once a year for 90 days, and that thing goes so fast, it makes my head spin. So I really want to thank him for just being supportive.
Yes.
Being supportive. Yes. You know, because you and Jimmy had to grieve one thing, and nobody can put time on how long somebody grieves.
Right.
And he happened to be there and happened to be perfect. Well, you got to be perfect if God sends him. If God sends him, you know it's perfect. So God sent you this other perfectly husband. I said, wait a minute, God. I'm telling you, I had a conversation with God. I said, wait a minute. I'm going to get these two perfect husbands. And okay. That'll be another video. Okay, Nisi, tell the chat about your book. just different how you got to it, some of the experiences, however much you want to give, and
Okay.
where they can purchase the book if they'd like to.
Okay. Oh, so the book is called Complete Transparency: Exposing Unresolved Trauma. So that really, that's not even about the cancer or anything else. It's really about me and my experience, or my entire family's experience of raising my younger daughter, who's my stepdaughter, who was diagnosed with severe mental illness. So that's my late husband's daughter. I continued to raise her after he passed away, and also in the remarriage, my husband welcomed all my children, into his life, which was beautiful. And that's the interesting part too,
Yeah,
just to highlight that
absolutely.
he was already in school, and he actually went back to school to learn more about mental health because of what he saw us
Yeah.
experiencing.
And
So
wait a minute, hold that thought, Shea, because I really need them to understand what you're saying here. So
yeah,
you got a new husband who's
yeah,
accepting your family.
yeah,
You taking on your husband's daughter because you ain't gonna leave her behind because it's
right,
just who you are.
right,
She ends up having some trauma issues in her life that are detrimentally
absolutely, absolutely,
effective to the whole family.
absolutely,
And so your husband goes back to school. You knew it, go back so he
yeah,
can learn how to deal with this level of trauma, or we're gonna all sink here, so to
absolutely,
speak. Good job, husband. I'm
yes,
telling you, good job.
absolutely.
You are so blessed in many ways. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
So that experience, just long story short, so the book is about that experience. And what I wanted to really highlight was not just my experience, because normally
Yes,
you hear about just the individual that's raising them, or
that's right.
the person who's living with it. But anyone who played a part in raising her, my mom, major part in helping to sustain just keeping her, first of all, so I can still go to work at times. Um, the impact that she had on her siblings. And I'm not gonna say her, I'm gonna say the behavior. That's what I learned to do,
That's right. The
is talk
behavior.
about the behavior, because it
That's right.
wasn't her. She was being severely attacked, and it was very major. I mean, from
Yeah.
things of trying to burn down a house to attempts on her brother's life, him being allergic to certain things, and things that she would have attempted to do to really kind of take him out of here. So very emotionally abusive. I say, when I tell you, there were mornings of just getting up, of me getting up, getting dressed, and her experiencing an attack, and I had to physically restrain her. I literally almost every morning, I don't even know why I continued to get dressed first. Every morning I had to re-shower after she calmed down, or after I got on the bus, re-shower and get myself ready for work to leave again, because it was that emotionally and physically draining. So to the point where when my oldest daughter was ready to go to college, she was like, "Mom, I'm gonna stay close." She wanted to get away. She said,
Yeah.
"Mom, I'm gonna stay
Yeah.
close," because she was concerned about
Of course.
something really happening.
Of course.
But she was concerned for my life. Put it like that. That's just what it was.
Of
That's
course.
the reality of it. So I wanted to share that experience. I wanted to share the mistakes that I made as a parent. You
Yeah.
know, um, because I didn't know what her experience was. I had my mother. She didn't
Yeah.
have her biological mother. And even though I was loving her to the best of my ability as a
Yeah.
mother, I'm sure I didn't do the best job. But I was transparent in that thing. When I say complete transparency, I was
Yeah.
transparent. So when people say, you said it, that's my sweet niece, well, sweet Shea wasn't always sweet,
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
I had to be vulnerable and expose that. And I tried to,
Absolutely.
in every chapter, provide like 3 tips or positive things after each chapter, guides or whatever, to help other people in parenting. There's no book on this thing.
Yeah.
We got her. My late husband got custody of her when she was like almost 3. So I didn't know. I didn't raise my hand, sign up for it, but here I am in it.
Yeah.
And when I say when I was going through, so the diagnosis. I'm still raising my daughter. We had the fire. So after my first surgery, after my first treatment of chemotherapy, my port got infected. So
Wow.
my skin started to open up. So anyway, I ended up
Now,
getting.
was that something you were supposed to do different, or just something that happens? How did that happen? Stress?
No, with a port, I don't know. Say it again.
Oh, wait a minute. We had a little
No,
chop
so the
up.
port,
Oh,
my
wait a
skin
minute.
was just
Wait a minute. 1 second, Shea, because something is chopping up. Okay, Audrey is
okay.
here. Our sister,
Hey,
our
mom.
queen is here. Hey, sister, we love you.
Hey, Mom, love you.
Yes. So this is my family affair, y'all. I told you I don't get to see my family, but once a year, maybe 90 days. And I was thinking about doing it different this year. But today my sister is here, not just my niece Sharon, but her mother is here. So welcome, sister. We
Awesome.
love you.
Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead. Shay, I'm
All
sorry.
right, so I'm gonna try to shorten because I know time is
Yeah,
uh
take your time because we about 15 minutes in. Take your time.
okay. So so I'm in so I'm going back and forth to the doctors prior to being in the hospital because
Yes.
my skin is thinning out around the port. Now it's only underneath
Okay.
your
I got
skin. And
you.
the assistant surgeon was giving me some cream, but it kept opening up.
Yes.
So eventually my skin closed. But I
Wow.
was feeling ill. So one morning I woke up. My husband looked at me. He knew I wasn't feeling good. I said, "Go ahead to work. I'll be fine." Um, but I remember checking my temperature later on that day, and I had 104 temperature. It was time to get out of here.
Wow.
So I called my mom. My mom sent my niece around. I could barely walk, auntie. I could barely walk. I get to the cancer center. Bianca takes me to the cancer center to get checked. Now I go inside, and the assistant surgeon sees me first, and she says to me, "Oh, you look fine. It's probably just some things going on with the chemotherapy." Thank goodness for my surgeon. She saw me and instantly was like, "Your port is infected. We're going to take it out." I was like, "Okay." Take
Wow.
me in the room. I said, "We're going to take it out here?" She said, "Yeah." Auntie, they took me back in the room, just at the regular doctor's room, and they cut me open,
Wow.
full of pus,
Oh.
infected. I'm sorry for those who can't handle that. All
Oh.
pus came out, just all, but it was just totally infected. So, because my skin closed up as it was infected,
Wow.
so she sent me over to the ER, telling me I would be there for 24 hours getting antibiotics. Lo and behold, I'm there for 7 days because the antibiotics didn't work. Now, I'm only about 120 pounds at the time, not very big at all. 6 days go by, they still can't figure it out. I can't eat anything. I can't eat anything. So it wasn't, I'm sorry, 5 days go by. It was day 6 when they figured out the right medicine to give me. So I'm literally going through, and it's interesting because this was the first week of September, and we were doing the sickle cell walk. So we had did all this work, so I can't even do that. So I give praises to my family who they all stepped in. It still was a success. Kiana was driving back and forth from Baltimore from school to come see me and ensure that the walk was a success. So it was just amazing how the family came together and the whole committee and the team. But so anyway, I'm in there day 5, day 6. They finally figured out it's working. So now here's the thing. I never thought that I looked sick. I never felt, even though I was feeling the pain, I was walking in so
Yeah.
much faith. But when I look back at pictures, I was like, oh, I did look like something was going on. Because
Wow.
um, I lost 12 pounds in those 6 days, straight
Really?
up. So I was down to like 108, if I'm right. I was like down to 108. And then I was able to, so they figured out the medicine. It started working. And
Mm.
I thank God, but
You are a true fighter. You
I
are
was
my
fighting.
hero.
I was fighting, even though in that hospital though, there were some moments it was like, enemy crept in my thoughts.
It
Was
was
like, it
looking
don't look too
real
good.
glim and
Yeah, it
dark
don't look too
for a
good for you,
minute.
sister. And I'm like, nope, I believe what I said in the beginning. I should live and not die. So I believed it. But he was messing with my thoughts. And
Wow.
I can never forget day 6, one of my girlfriends, Connie, I said, you know what, can you get me a baked potato from Wendy's?
Wow.
Brought me a whole big baked potato. I ate that much. But I
Well,
ate it.
that's okay. You
And
was
I
ready
held
to
it
eat
down. I
them.
was so excited. So we going into day 6.5.
Wow.
On the news is the house. Our house is on fire. I'm in a
Wow.
hospital, so my husband and my younger daughter are in the house. So now we experiencing a house fire. So now, as I get released from the hospital on day 7, I got discharged. We come home. I come home to really no home. We had to go to a hotel. So that was that experience right there. On top of that, so then we come back out. So the book is about the experience of raising her, about the mental health, but also how the mental illness impacted us. We all developed, if we didn't already have it, which we probably already did, but we developed, additional sickness around the behavior we experienced that was inflicted on us through the behavior that was
Absolutely.
attacked.
It's a
Right.
family disease. And that's all
Yes.
I've been trying to tell people.
Absolutely.
All of it. All of it is it
Absolutely.
affects the entire family. Well, it don't matter what kind of disease it is. It can be addiction. It can be cancer. It could be sickle cell. It affects the entire family
Entire
because
family.
we got to get up every night to take you to the hospital Of course, we gonna be traumatized.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the chapters in my book is called Emotional Jeopardy. And I asked what I did in that chapter was I asked everyone to give me a little synopsis of how their relationship impacted them. And I did get permission from my younger daughter. So I got the permission to do that. And they shared their experience. So I wanted to make sure I highlighted their experience, like a paragraph for each person,
That's
you
beautiful.
know.
Yeah, I read my book. I finally got it. It took
Okay.
like a year to get to me.
I know it went
You
everywhere.
mailed me my copy, and they showed me the tracking. It went to Africa. It
I
went to
know.
the Caribbean. It went to 2 parts of Africa.
It did a world tour.
I said, wait a minute, that book went all around the world. And then one day I got it. I couldn't believe it. I said,
It did. I couldn't believe it.
I
Oh my
got my
goodness.
book. So wait a minute, because we're coming to a close time.
Yes.
Please tell us, how is the relationship today? Because you are a true, we got to find some other kind of name for you. You just a superwoman.
Oh goodness.
You survived too much. You survived so much, Shea.
Well, let me say how I did that, Auntie. If I could. Are you going to ask me a question?
That's what I was going to ask you. Of all the experiences, all that you've been through, where did your strength come from? How? What's the next step for you now?
Well, I'm looking at one of my strengths, but let me take it back to my mother. So there is no way. I watched my mom raise us as a single parent for so long, but I watched how she pressed through life. And even hearing the stories from y'all and everyone else, but hearing the stories from my aunts and my mom, she's my true superhero. So to watch how she navigated life, when I was old enough to really be able to understand and watch and wow, she really did this thing with these three young men, and then here I
three
come.
Big, tall, giant young men who all ate loaves of bread individually.
Absolutely, who can eat?
Okay, one pot of spaghetti to themselves. Like my sister, I remember all of that. So keep going.
So that's my number one. But all of y'all played a part. So if I can name all my aunts on both sides, my aunt Blondine, my aunt Claudine, my aunt Maxine, my aunt Natural Mutesi that's here, my aunt Weenie, my aunt Irene, my aunt Sweetie, and my aunt San, all of y'all have played a part, and y'all were strength to me.
Yeah, we do come from strength. We do come
absolutely. So of course my grandparents, I can't forget Addie and Maybelle,
I'm telling you,
Maybelle Shepherd.
Oh, we come from strength.
It's two different personalities, but I got all of y'all in me.
Yes, you do.
And because of that, that's we say.
And then wait, I'm going to cut you off, but not just your strength, mother. You come from strength, your father.
Oh yeah, my dementia. Absolutely. Let me not.
Yeah. So it's just what is the International Women's Month? So we're gonna stick with the women. But I don't want to get
highlighting the women. But you are exactly right. All the men as well.
We come from strength. We really do. Okay, really quick. Tell us what your relationship today is like with your stepdaughter.
So wow. So it's up and down.
Okay.
So we go through these. So it was up. We go through these periods because mental illness hits. Whenever
it's real. It's real. Thank you.
And I have to learn how to keep my peace. So my heart is open whenever, we have this division, whenever we're separated, whenever she's ready to come back, my heart is always open to receive her. Yes. She now has a child, and I'm so grateful that she's doing a wonderful job, the best that she can to raise him. So that's great.
Okay.
But today, I say today we haven't really spoke. And that was only since back in November. So it happens. It could be 6 months on, 6 months off.
Well, that's beautiful.
My heart is open. My heart is open. I was able to that's where we are right today. But again, good. When she's there, when she comes back, I'm still here.
Absolutely. And every time I run into her, which isn't that often, but the last time I was there, I did. I think you had your 50th birthday
at my party. Yes.
Yeah, and it was just so happy. It was so good to see her and embrace her.
Absolutely.
And that she remembered me. She was Auntie Natural like everybody else. I said, I know that's right.
Anything. She doesn't forget anything.
Yes. So Damali said you are a very, very strong woman. She says, sis, strength comes in the weakest moments. It does. It does. It really does. So, wow, Shea, I just want to wish you a happy International Women's Month. I am so honored. I am so honored to have had you here today. Thank you for making yourself available. Tell your husband we appreciate meeting him. And you do have a wonderful family. And I look forward. I'm not sure if I'll come to America. I think I am, but it's probably going to be the last time.
I hope so. Okay.
Yeah, because
If
I got
not,
to be.
we're coming to you. I
Well,
got over
good.
this fear of flying.
Well, good. I would love that. It would be nice if you could put my sister on the plane with you, but ain't no
Oh,
use
that
in
would
me.
be lovely.
Ain't no use in me saying that because my sisters ain't getting on no plane, and that's that. So we just have to love each other the way we love each other. But I can't thank you enough. So, what would you say? Last words to any woman? Like you said, you was in the shower and you just said, "Let me check," and you found a lump.
Okay.
Or just pulling from the strength that's within you that you were born with. My sister said it cannot be your last time. Yes, ma'am. I heard the look, Orange, you said it cannot be your last time. I heard the bass in your voice. Yes, ma'am, love the baby sister. Yes, ma'am, big sister. So
I
what
heard it
would you
too.
say to women who don't really check themselves like they should? Give us some last
Ooh, okay.
encouraging words because you are living proof. You're
Okay.
here to tell us.
Absolutely. So I first would encourage all women to please know your body. You have to know yourself. Don't let a doctor or anyone else tell you about your body. You have to touch yourself. That may sound weird, but you have to feel your body to see what's going on with you. Pay attention to what you eat. Prime example, if I had waited for another year just to get a mammogram, that was in February. I checked myself in April. Who knows what could have happened? That thing could have been
Oh,
large. It could have spread.
so
It could have
wait a
been
minute. I
stage
don't mean to
four.
cut you off, but
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to ask you. So you had just got a mammogram and you are a woman who always got them.
Yeah,
Mammogram.
yes, yes. I just got my mammogram in February, so I decided to check myself in April. What if I decide not to check myself?
Wow.
So that's why I say it's important to know your body. Please do monthly checks. If you feel like doing weekly, nightly, whatever, but please make sure at least once a month check your body because that anything can pop up. And if I can encourage any women too, I see a lot of us women doing it, carrying our cell phones up here. I believe that played a part as well too. I know stress played a part
It
as well,
does.
but studies have shown that a lot of people who carry their phones in their back pockets are having butt cancer because that's what their phone and it's
It
shaped like
shouldn't
a
be nowhere like this. Should be in your
right,
pocket somewhere. It's
right.
too much
So please,
inside them cell phones.
right. So if any woman carrying phones in your bras, please stop doing that. Don't carry the cell phone on your person because it is showing that it is impacting people's body. Men get breast cancer as well.
Yes,
So
they
for
do.
those who
Yes,
they
they
know
do.
that as well. But that's what I really want to say. Just know yourself. Advocate for yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up if you know something's not right. I don't care how many times you go back. If you don't get what you feel like you need, get a second, get a third opinion.
Yeah.
Don't stop advocating because there are people I've known who just went with the first doctor and don't accept any type
Mm,
of communication. There's
mm.
at times some people are very rude. Don't
Yeah, they
tolerate it.
are. Yeah,
Your voice
yeah.
matters.
That's
Your voice
good.
matters. And that's all I
Wow.
want to say. Your voice matters here. So you
Yes, you do.
advocate for the women in your family, advocate for your
Mm.
children. My daughter now has to get checked now because of my diagnosis at the age of 41.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so she just went through this experience, so she has to get checked. I think
Absolutely.
10 years earlier now, so she wouldn't have gotten her mammogram. And it's good to have good people. I had my radiologist. I shout her out. Nia is amazing. She
Yeah.
really made sure my daughter was taken care of because they would not give her one. So again,
Yeah, because they
make
want you
sure
to be a certain age, right?
right. Make sure you keep the connections, with your doctors, your radiologist, whoever it may be, because that's important too. So again, advocate for yourself, speak for yourself, and don't be afraid to know that your voice does matter here.
Yeah, I try to have great relationships with all my doctors.
Hmm.
I just do because it's important. That way, when something go down, they know you and you have a better chance at getting what you
Absolutely,
need.
absolutely.
Wow. So thank you just for pulling off that strength, that whole
Mhm.
lineage we just talked about. Your aunties, your sisters, because don't nobody really know nobody's history. I remember them asking me when I had a few things going on, is this going in your family? And I didn't know. And then come to find out, they Orange and Blondine told me they had something. And I was like, well, why didn't nobody know? So,
Right.
but
We gotta talk. We gotta talk more.
we
We gotta
gotta
let go
talk.
of
We
that
gotta talk
that
more. And we
right.
all women, we should be sharing our
Absolutely.
experience
Right. Don't be afraid and don't have no
with each
shame
other. So
about
we
what
want
you're
to thank you
doing.
today.
Hmm. I'm
Yes.
done. Sorry.
Sister Drisa, she said, thank you so much for sharing your story. She
Oh,
said,
thank you
thank
for
you.
listening. Thank you
Um,
so much.
Yes. So Nisi, we're gonna go now. We appreciate you.
Hmm.
Thank you for sharing all
I
that
love
love
you.
with your auntie and her chat. And I look forward to having you back again.
Oh, thank you so much, Auntie. I love y'all, and thank y'all for joining.
Thank you so much, Nisi.
All
You
right.
love you and have a good
Love
day.
you. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye. Thank you, chat.